What if one small thought could change your entire life? Listen closely. This story is for you. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village called Willow Creek, there lived a kind woman named Eleanor Grace. She was 75 years old, with soft silver hair tied in a bun and eyes that sparkled like morning dew. Her face had gentle wrinkles and a warm smile that made everyone feel at home, even people she had just met. Eleanor lived alone in a small wooden house near a big old oak tree. Her husband had passed away 20 years ago, and she never had children, but she never seemed lonely. Somehow, it felt like the whole village was her family. Every morning, Eleanor took a walk through the town. She smiled at everyone, waved to the kids waiting for the school bus, and sometimes left little notes with kind words in mailboxes. No matter how cold the winter got or how dry the summer was, no one ever heard her complain. Her secret? Positive thinking. She had trained her mind to look for the good, even in the smallest things. People often wondered, how can she stay so happy when life's been so unkind to her? One chilly fall morning, a young woman named Sophia, about 27 years old, knocked on Eleanor's door. Her eyes were red from crying. Her face looked tired and full of worry. Eleanor gently opened the door and said, "Come in, sweetheart." Sophia sat down at the table and couldn't hold it in anymore. "My husband lost his job a few months ago," she said. "He left for Chicago to look for work, but it's been weeks. No call, no money. The bills are piling up, my kids are hungry, and I feel like I'm falling apart." Eleanor listened carefully as she made a warm cup of chamomile tea. Then she asked softly, "Sophia, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thought that pops into your head?" Sophia looked down and said, "That something bad is going to happen, that I won't be able to handle the day." Eleanor nodded. "I thought so." She reached into a nearby drawer and pulled out a small glass jar filled with folded paper notes. "I call this my hope jar," she said with a smile. "Every time I think something good, even something small, I write it down and put it in here. Want to know what I wrote yesterday?" Sophia leaned in, curious. "I wrote, 'Today, I choose to believe that something good is coming, even if I can't see it yet.'" Sophia blinked, confused. "But how can you believe that when life feels like it's falling apart?" Eleanor smiled gently. "That's the secret, honey. Most people wait for life to get better before they believe. But the truth is, life gets better because you believe. The way you think sets the tone for what shows up in your life." She paused, then shared a story. "Years ago, I met a man named Frank down by the lake. He had lost everything, his wife, his farm, his hope. I asked him, 'What do you still have?' He sighed and said, 'Just this bench and the sky above me.' And I told him, 'Then start there.' So every day he came back to that same bench. He said thank you for the wind, the birds, the view. A few months later, he picked up a paintbrush and started painting that sky. He sold his first piece at the county fair. And just like that, one small thought led him to a whole new life. One day, one canvas at a time." Sophia sat quietly, taking it all in. "So, you really think my thoughts can change my life?" Eleanor leaned closer and said softly, "I don't just think so. I know they can. Your thoughts are the first step toward the life you want." Sophia left Eleanor's house that day with something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. The next morning, she looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "Today will be a good day." Her situation hadn't changed overnight. She still had bills, and her husband was still gone, but her heart felt lighter. She sang while doing the laundry, played with her kids, and started writing one positive thing each night to keep in her own little jar. And then, 3 weeks later, a letter came. Her husband had found a job. He was coming home with his first paycheck in hand. Tears rolled down Sophia's face as she ran to Eleanor's house and hugged her tight. "It worked," she said, smiling through her tears. Eleanor smiled back. "Of course it did. You didn't wait for life to change. You changed, and life followed." Word spread quickly around Willow Creek. People started writing in gratitude journals. Hope jars popped up in windows across town. Life didn't get easier, but it felt brighter, lighter, and more filled with positivity, all because one woman chose to believe that the way you think shapes the way you live. Listen closely. Here's the moral of the story. Friends, your life doesn't change by chance. It changes by choice. When you choose to believe in hope, even in the darkest moments, you invite light to return. And that's the truth most people forget when life gets tough. It's easy to feel powerless when things fall apart, when you're hit with loss, uncertainty, or silence where answers should be. But what if the real power lies not in what happens to us, but in how we respond? Eleanor didn't have a perfect life, but she made a powerful choice every single day to focus on what's good, to spread kindness, and to keep hope alive. That one small shift in perspective turned her pain into purpose and inspired an entire village. You don't need a perfect life to feel fulfilled. You just need the courage to choose light, even when you're surrounded by darkness. Your thoughts shape your reality, and every new day offers a fresh start. Believe in the power of positive thinking. Start your own hope jar today. One small thought can change your entire life. So today, ask yourself, what will you choose? Choose hope. Choose strength. Choose to believe that today can be a good day. If this touched your heart, subscribe and help spread the positivity.